All right, Nicolas, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
I think we started chatting like a year ago about doing this ComfyUI thing, and like we were just initially just chatting about, you know, how will AI and machine learning fit into the current CG VFX space, and then you started developing this workshop. Do you want to just give us a quick introduction on what the workshop is about, and maybe how are you currently using these workflows in a production environment?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, sure.
I know you can't say which shows you're working on and specifically, or you can, like, it's up to you. But yeah, I would love to hear about how are you actually using this in production? How is it useful, and what was the response from, because I know like AI it's still very taboo, right? Like a lot of people
Let's
are
start with
like,
the cheat topic. Yeah,
yeah, there's like people who are absolutely against it, then people in the middle, and people who are like, yeah, this is the future, right? I personally, I'm still in the middle, but I do think using machine learning for things like upresing, uh, rotoscoping, green screen removal, things like that. Things that are kind of more technical passes. I think that's completely fine, and that's like the obvious way where you use these machine learning models, because first they're going to be more accurate, it's going to be faster, and they're going to be just going to be better, right? I obviously in some cases you're still going to have to do manual keyframe rotoscoping, but why would you if like a good model can actually do all the nice rotoscoping for you? So I'm definitely in that camp where I think all of that is great. And I also think that just using not machine learning, but like generative AI, if you want to become an artist or a filmmaker or a photographer, I think there's no way you can actually learn how to become a filmmaker just using Gen AI
yeah, no, of course.
models.
Yeah,
Like you're like, oh, oh, see dance. Oh, look at this crazy action sequence I made. And I'm like, you didn't really make it. It's the AI made it, that was trained on a lot of stolen data. And now it's kind of giving you the kind of reprocessing that sequence back to you. So you didn't do anything, and you didn't actually learn how to do filmmaking,
yeah, of course.
right? Yeah. But I see a lot of people.
The thing about this is
Yeah.
like, I feel I don't have it. I don't know if you have the same thing, but I feel when someone is generating some like, let's talk about images in first time, but like yeah, people generating images, you can say straight away if they are like if they have like a artistic background or not.
Or not. Yeah.
If
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
if yeah, you just need this like this kind of background to be able to achieve because in the end it's just a tool. Uh, it's true that it makes like more accessible, like generating images more accessible. That's also true. Also, it's just like photographer. Everyone can hold the camera in his hand, but like you have to know the rules and everything, like the rule of composition. You have to know how to tweak the setting to get the right lighting and so on. So like everyone can like take a picture, but not everyone is able to take a good one. And I think it goes pretty much the same with AI, with generative AI. And right now, like I think like we are like a bit at the end of this time period, but like back maybe in 6 months or 1 year ago, like everyone was like, okay, it's finished.
Hmm.
AI is going to take everything over, and like right now, I feel like people they are just like realizing and finding out that was just not the case. Like you really still need to have like a solid background and so on, and like it depends on the field you are talking about. But like for the VFX studios and so on, like the thing is like the more constraint you put to the AI, the harder it will be to generate something that looks good. Like if you just like for the video as well, if you just do some text to video, so you just use a prompt, and you're like, okay, I wanted to generate something, it's going to look like super good and all. Like depends on the subject. Like sometimes like the physics will be off, like the falling object that will fall like too slow, to like the interaction, it will be off as well. But like overall, it will look good. Like it will look visually appealing at least. But if you are like in the context of VFX, and you have like a very tight constraint, and you have you're like, okay, like this is my shot. I don't want you to change anything, but just add some element into that, and like you have to integrate everything in this pre-existing shot. It's a completely different level of difficulty. So I feel like those tools, like the easy part, it's not suitable for professional workflows. And if you really wanted to get the most out of it in professional context, VFX workflows and so on, you really have to have like a more advanced knowledge, like, and I think people that still don't realize this, how like the gap of complexity between like just going from a text and doing some video, and like actually modify pre-existing shot using AI. It's completely different magnitude of complexity. I think like people tend to ignore this, or they don't realize that, but I think it's because like those tools, they are like super recent, and like things are moving like super fast and so on, like and people like like, I feel it's kind of like maybe a bit fuzzy and confusing for the most of the people. And yeah, that's pretty much this. But like from my personal experience, I've seen in the studio I work here, I work in, as like, because basically for the studio I'm the head of innovation, so I'm in charge of like tech monitoring. Like I'm like, okay, this technology looks good, so I'm going to install it on my computer locally, I'm going to benchmark it, run some tests and so on, and if the license allow it and the results are good enough, I'm going to be like, okay, so let's build a tool around this, and we are going to give this tool to the graphic designer and to the artist, so we can like step by step level up our workflows, like keep up to date with the new technologies. And this is basically what I do. So this is like a whole, this is one part of the job, and like the other part is like just what you would call like a TD, like a TD, like when we have like some specific needs on some production, uh, regarding AI and so on. I'm just join the team of the production. I just craft all the workflow that really fit this specific need, and then like we just use it at scale for the production. Like for example, not so long ago we had like a movie, like during one sequence, Alfred Hitchcock was supposed to be interviewed by a journalist. So like what they did is like they shot an actor, and so I used this actor. So basically, I kept like all the face expression, like the acting performance, and all that. I was using this just to like swap it with Alfred Hitchcock. So I had to like use some training stuff and so on, just to get the model to generate the character right, because like you can't afford to deviate like by even by little, like you have to be like very accurate and with this kind
Mm.
of stuff. And so like we used this to create the sequence, and the result is really cool actually. Like you really retain like all the facial expression and the acting performance from the original guy, Alfred Hitchcock. It's a seamless integration. Like basically like that was like one of the latest use case we've been doing. And like apart from that, like last summer I went to a studio in Paris, because I'm based in Brussels, and from time to time I just commute to Paris, and I gave
Mhm.
like 3 weeks 3 weeks training sessions to like all the lead compositor, and like during 3 weeks we were doing like a intense training session on Comfy. And so we took like everything from the beginning to more advanced workflows. And essentially, like I was teaching them Comfy the same way I'm teaching it like in the workshop. Like it was like was very convenient to be crafting this workshop at the time because like it was like a like just a training
Precursor.
for me
Yeah.
just to get it right and to get like it was also like a good way to test it, like if the method was working. And
Hmm.
yeah, actually it was like super efficient, like in just like a very short amount of time they really understood what it was about and how to navigate the software and so on. And like like just in 2 weeks they came up with some use case I've never thought of. And right now, like a few of them, they are really using it at scale, like in daily production daily production work. So mainly like they are still doing their shot in Nuke, of course, but like for some specific stuff that would take like forever in Nuke, and you have to, like sometimes you have to 3D track some stuff, and you have to correct it manually, and you have to do like some crazy corner pin in order to follow and to patch all the stuff and all. Like here, the AI just get it right on like on the first try, so it gives you like a very solid base, solid working base, and then you can comp on top of it. So you just save a lot of time, and the quality it's pretty much the same. And sometimes like most part of the time it's even like better, because like the AI gives you, like if you know how to use it properly, it gives you like some very credible result. And like doing this in 2D would take like super long, and doing this in 3D would be like way more expensive. And on this kind of, because like we're talking about like small details in shots, and in this case we wouldn't use 3D to do that. We would just stay in 2D and do all the stuff in 2D. So it's just a way to leveraging AI to like enhance the result and save some times. So that is basically how we use AI in the studio. Like basically like just like the lead compositor, they have like a broad overview of the whole stuff, and they're just figuring out how to use it. Like the 3D department, they are using it as well, but in some different way. But this is the thing about Comfy, like it's very versatile, and you can use it like for like a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree, because I'm also like trying all of the tools all the time, just so I'm constantly up to date. ComfyUI is definitely the one that feels like it's, as far as I have seen, the best one for professionals. Then you have a lot of other
yeah,
ones
I
like
feel it's like the only professional tool. Like I
I
really
also
think like
agree.
all
Yeah,
the others that are just toys. And like
they
the
are. Well, with the other ones, you just get pre-trained models. Like I tried Wavy, or you have Flora AI, or whatever, these other node-based systems, and it's like there's really nothing you need to learn about them or how to use them. It's literally, you can watch a 10-minute tutorial on YouTube and you know everything. Like it's stupid simple to use them.
yeah, yeah.
But with Comfy, you can actually you can be specific. You can do things with intent. You can fix specific problems that we get all the time in a VFX production, like what you mentioned, freaking 3D tracking. I think I think that's perfect for AI and machine learning, right? Because I've like I still like in Nuke, I still don't get good tracks with their point trackers or planar
Yeah, yeah,
trackers.
yeah.
Obviously, you can if you're a good tracker and you have a lot of experience and you know kind of the down like pitfalls of those tools. You can kind of work around them. But I feel like AI, like 3D tracking, that's going to be a perfect use case, right? Because it can
I mean,
reconstruct the whole scene in a point cloud.
it's
Yeah,
a completely different way of working. Like it depends also on the case, because like because the AI, when we talk about like 3D tracking with AI, like as far as now, you don't get the editable curve. You don't get like the proper track. You just get like the result like already baked in your frame, and it's already match moved, and like the AI just get the motion right. Like you just stay in uh, in 2D, but there are still some workflows when you still need to go through the manual track because you need the curve and you need to tweak all the keyframes and all. And in this case, you can't get away with AI, like as far as now, like probably in the future, maybe, probably, yeah. But as far as now, like I'm not aware of any model that can like really get the track, the 3D track as right as a human match mover. And but
Mm.
the cool stuff, as you were saying, is like if you have to add something within an image and you have to 3D track and the motion goes crazy and so on, like the AI can be really helpful for this. But if you have how in the situation that you have to be like very accurate and you wanted to iterate on your result and so on, so in this case, you just have to stick with the traditional tool. Like this is like one thing the AI still is falling behind right now. Like it's really like edit editability, let's say, like even for the 2D tracks and the 3D tracking, when you are generating some stuff, it's basically like yeah, it almost never slides. Like it's just like right in place in the frame,
Hmm.
but you can't edit it. And if you want to like to go through like the traditional way, let's say, like you have to still have to go through the whole manual process. So this is one thing. And once again, like AI, like it's another way to repeat, like AI, it's just a tool. It's just not going to get 100% of the work right for you. So that's why like people are like saying like VFX industry is done and so on. Like they don't understand this because like you really still need to like you were talking about like AI roto. Okay, so AI roto, it works super well and it's very accurate. You can have like a very like really pixel perfect mask. You even have like the edge ramping. You have like it's not like a black and white alpha. You have like a very nice ramping on the edge. Like it's super accurate even for the little hair and all. It just get it right. But like let's say you have a shot, like you can't have the AI to get the shot correctly. So if you are not familiar with roto, or if you don't know how to do it manually,
You're
basically you
fucked.
can't. You're fucked. Yeah, exactly. So you can't do that. So I feel, yeah, it's still super important to have like this kind of skills. But the truth is, as I said before, like we have like some very good 2D comp artists in my studio, and like those guys, they were already doing like super amazing jobs just by using Nuke and all the traditional way from like 3 or 4 years ago. And those guys boosted with AI, they are like super amazing. Like they are even faster, better, and so on. So this is why we shouldn't like like overlook this tool, because it allows you to like leverage everything you are already capable of, but it won't do like all the work for you. You still have to do some manual stuff and so on. So I think, yeah, the right approach is mostly this, like like just getting familiar with the tool, figuring out how you integrate it in your pre-existing workflow, and don't try and not trying to have like a full AI, like a full stack AI workflow, because like the people, when they ask to use AI and so on, they are thinking that AI is going to do everything. And what is working right now is like the hybrid workflow, like when you mix like traditional techniques with those new tools, and this is how you get the most of it. And not the other way around. Like the AI is not going to replace like manual stuff and so on. So I think it's like super important to keep that in mind when you tackle AI at the beginning. And but in the end, eventually, as you progress through the process of learning AI and so on, you just figure out this by yourself. You're like, okay, like
Yeah.
I can use that for this, can use that for that. It's not it's really not perfect for this, but it gets me like 70% of the work, so it's still time saving and so on, but you still have to do like the 30 other percent by yourself. And I think this is the right approach to tackle
I
this.
agree. I agree. I feel like at the beginning there was a lot of fear, you know, in our industry because people that had no previous experience were now making these clips and they were like, oh, look, I'm an artist now as well. And we were all like, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no, no,
yeah.
no. It takes like 10, 15 years to train your eye because without it, you won't know what's good, what's bad. But everybody was like, no, there's no gatekeeping anymore. Duh, we're all free. We can do whatever we want. And I'm like, nobody was gatekeeping anything. It's all open to everyone all the
Yeah,
time.
true.
It's just up to you if you want to, you know, start grinding and actually learning this. Um, but it's kind of like what you were saying. You need pre-existing knowledge to be able to use these tools in the right way. And it's kind of like a similar analogy would be when stop motion animators went to animate on computers, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
They
mean, that's a super good example as well. Yeah.
it was the same thing, right? It's just the instead of, and I'm sure a lot of the stop motion animators actually prefer to animate with puppets and all of that. That's why they got into the business. I'm sure it was great, and that's why stop motion still exists today. But you know, I think it was like at ILM, and they were like, no, now we're going to use computers for animation. A lot of the stop motion animators were able to transfer to computers because the knowledge was the same. You still have to understand motion, movement, you know, kinetic energy, all of that, and they knew it because it was the job was the same, right? The knowledge, the skill set they had, they could transfer it, and then they just used computers. And I feel like the people who, and I like that. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that's the right way of doing it, and I think if you never people who are already in the industry and they have their eye trained, because I think that's the most important thing is your taste. Because if you're not an artist and now you're like, oh, I'm just going to use Dance to create my movie, you don't have the taste. Like, and honestly, it takes decades to train that taste in
Yeah.
your eye. Because I know it
And you
took
won't
me
see,
decades.
yeah, you won't see the flow as well of say dance. Like if you are creating like a wall sequence and you have like a lack of consistency, and you have like some stuff like shifting like between shots and all. Like if you don't have a trained eye, you won't see it, and you will just look at this and like, okay, that's perfect, and so on. And there's like so many things that are off, and if you didn't train your eye, obviously, like this is like a small details and so on, and you just going to ignore this completely. So yeah,
No, it's like I keep telling people, it's like a lot of these AI bros are like, you know, if you want to train your muscles, you go to the gym, right? And in order to get big, you need to lift the weights, right? But I feel like a lot of these AI bros are like, it's like they go to the gym and they're just looking at the weights and they're like, oh,
yeah,
I'm gonna get so buffed.
yeah,
I'm gonna
true,
be
yeah, yeah.
jacked in 3 months. I'm gonna be ripped. And I'm like, no, no, no. You need to pick the weight up, and that is that training, and it takes years to develop that artistic eye. And I know that a lot of us like in the industry are very frustrated with all the AI bros right now, and they're really promoting this technology as
You
they're
know, like
over.
the thing about like those people, there are two types of people. There are like the people who are like doing like some proper research and so on. So they share like some array insight and so on. So like it's like actually like very valuable. And because like they share like some technical details, and so like they do some testing and probing, and they are like, okay, this model is shit for this, but it's super good for that. And like you know how to orient yourself when you are doing your own benchmark, and you have like all the whole group that, yeah, you call the AI bro. Yeah, I feel it's like a super, I like the naming, but like those guys, they are not I feel like the main goal is not to, how can I say, like it's really not to inform the people or to promote any model. even though like some of them they are like probably paid for posting, but like I think the main goal is, like just to trigger like some fear and something to farm engagement on the
Yeah.
social
Oh,
media. So
clickbaiting. Yeah.
they don't give a shit about the quality and like some of them, like I follow a few of them on LinkedIn just to, because it's a super good indicator to know what the people, like what the normies they are thinking about AI. So I just follow them to be like, okay, like right now the people that they are like thinking this about AI, and it helps me like really a lot with the call with the clients and all, because like I know what they saw, I know what they are going to say, so I can like explain them. So, dude, calm down. It's not going to work with this. And like all those people that are just like playing you like by, like making you feel you like being always like late or like being behind some
Behind.
stuff, and like
Mm.
they're just leveraging your fear of missing out to engage even more. So, and you have like this kind of people, and you have like the other entity posting a lot about this is like a company themselves that are like crafting models. And obviously, like as any company, you are not going to say anything bad about your product. So they are like, okay, those models is fucking amazing, guys. We can do this. Like, we can do everything and so on. So you have like those two channels that are like super aggressive with super strong messages, and like the people that just, yeah, like I mean, like they just do some demo, but it's very cherry picked and so on. Like they just give you like the best out of it, because like the most part of the time, like right now it's less and less the case. But like I feel like back in the time, like Sora, it's a super good example. Like you just watch like the demo of Sora, and you're like, my God, like I can create like a 45 seconds shot, and like the camera motion is so smooth and so on. And then you try it for yourself, and
It's just
magically
nothing.
you just can't get any good result. Like, I mean, Sora, it was a breakthrough. Like it just set like higher the standard. Like when it was being released, it just set up the standard. Like we just it was really a gap. But the demo was not reflecting the reality, even though the reality was already super good. But the demo was like a way ahead of this. Like they were like talking about like doing like a full movie with this. I think I don't even know if they did, but maybe they did it. Maybe the project dropped and so on. But like OpenAI, yeah, they just like I don't know if you saw news, but like I think it was like yesterday or like so
A
we
few
are
days ago. Yeah.
yeah, a few
Yeah.
days
They
ago.
closed
So we
down
are,
Sora. Yeah.
yeah,
The
and
app.
they just shut down this, and
Hmm.
because yeah, at some point I think it's not profitable for them anyway. But like, yes, so but
Also,
yeah,
not only it's not profitable, but I feel like the people they got bored with it because the
yeah,
app was
probably.
supposed to be fun, and it was just literally AI slop on top of everything. And I'm sure people, I think in the first week there was like millions and millions of users, but as soon as people were like, "Oh, this is cool! Look, I can put myself in this video," after a week, everybody was like,
Yeah,
okay, this is kind of boring.
yeah,
And nobody wanted to watch other people's videos. They only tried the app just to put themselves into something.
yeah,
But
true.
actually watching other people's work was like, why would I watch this? Because it was just, I know how they made it and it's kind of boring, you know? So that's why they shut it down, because it didn't work. And it's kind of cool in a way that it means people still want to see real things, so it's not just like completely
Yeah,
AI
I
generated
feel that too. Like
without any effort.
I, even though like the model was like super ahead of its time when it was released. Like and after I don't remember the exact chronology, but then you got like a VO from Google, and then you had like some others. I think right now we have like a whole range of tools that are like super well performing, and but you can use that like to craft like some actually good videos, like not just doing AI scopes. And so that's why and we also have access like the open source models we also have access to super high quality models like locally on our computer. So like I feel it's like super amazing to see, because like there's a two side on this medal. Like as you said, like there are like people using it to do like whatever shit they wanted to do, like some AI sculpts and so on. But on the other end, like the closed models like Sora, VO, and so on, like even Sid Dance, which is like again like super amazing to some extent, but like I still didn't try it for myself, but I feel like the second I will try it, I will find some limits right away. And on the other hand, I'm pretty sure I will be like super surprised by some result as well in the good way. But it's also like an arbitrage. Like or it's never like oh my god, this is super amazing or this is total crap. It's always like somewhere in between. So that's why, like, when I'm talking about models, like, it could be like Sora or open source model or VOs and so on. Like, I'm not like that categorical, like, like I'm not like that radical. Like, people are doing some shits with it. Like, the model is some shits. Like, no, the model, if used properly, you can actually leverage it like in super cool way. But you just have to be a bit creative and know how to tackle what you want to achieve. And as soon as you do like this kind of like a working process, maybe you can get some cool result out of it. So that was the first thing, and the second thing is like the industry, like the closed industry, like OpenAI, Google, Kling, ByteDance with SeedDance and so on. Like they are always pushing the limits of the models, and this push the limit of the open source models. Like right now, like I think like maybe a couple of years ago, like when because I think like a generative video, it began to be like kind of sort of interesting, like maybe 1 year and a half ago, maybe, and more or less. But at that time, like the open source model, the being able to generate some video, they were like way behind the closed source models. And right now, we have access to some open source model that we can actually run on our computer locally, that are performing like super well, and gives you like some crazy layer of control, some really high level of control, and you can use that to generate some video or to edit some videos locally on your machine. And it's just like it took me a while to realize, but it's I really honestly I think it's super amazing to be able to have like this kind of technology at disposal locally running on your machine. Because like when I remember like when the first version of ChatGPT was released, I was like, dude, like this is no sense. Like, my God, like you went to, like you went to typing a command on a terminal, and if one character is wrong, like the machine doesn't understand everything to something, you can forget the words, it still get it right. I was like, I was mind blown. And now, like the open source LLMs that you can free download and host on your machine, they are better than the first version of a ChatGPT. So we are like going through like some crazy revolution technology, and we have like all this technology at disposal because like the open source world really, like made the process to develop some stuff, and like to release some crazy stuff. So I think it's super cool to be able to, like leverage this kind of tool and access this technology for free as well. And because like it's open source, it's free downloadable, and you can edit those models as well. And all of this you can access those models for free. Like, I mean, it
Mm.
blew my mind, like that you can access that this level of high technology completely for free locally. So yeah, I think that's why like mostly, it's super interesting to explore like all the possibility and get familiar to like with these new technologies as well.
Yeah, I agree. I tend to I I always try to keep up to date with new technologies, and I do think with this machine learning, AI, large language models, all of that, I think it is interesting and it's good to understand how they work. And I think in the workshop you go through a lot of that, right?
Yeah,
Um,
like
like
quite a lot.
Yeah. There, we've been talking for like half an hour,
Yeah,
just
already.
about. I have so much to say about this, as probably you do as well. It's such a large topic, and it is a technology that kind of came out of nowhere. But I wanted to say, when it comes to, I know a lot of programmers are also quite scared, because you have Claude and all of these AIs now that are really good at programming. And I think it was the CEO of NVIDIA that actually said it. He was like, programming was never the job. You know,
Yeah,
the
it's all
job
about the
was,
logic behind, yeah, and breaking down the problems and so on.
it's problem solving and being an engineer. And the coding, the programming was a step to solve the problem, right? That was the intermediary step. So what programmers or engineers were actually solving was, you had to use programming to get to your solution. And he was saying that probably just the programming part is going to go away, but everything else is going to stay the same. Now, I roughly
Yeah,
agree
I'm
with
not
that.
about this. I'm not really sure about this because, like, I've been using like my favorite. Honestly, this is like one aspect of the AI I didn't try that much. I've been experimenting with anti-gravity by Google, even though I know
Yeah,
for a fact
yeah,
it's not like the best one.
but it's similar. Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of cool, and you have access to Gemini and Cloud Opus through this. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to give it a try and so on. But this is not something I really dig into details so far. But the thing is, like, I've been doing I've been using it to do my own custom node in ComfyUI because there was some tools that I wanted to have them available through Comfy, but like the custom node, they never came out. And like I was like, okay, I'm just going to try to use AI to do it myself. I'm not a developer. I can read the Python, but like compared to a developer, like I'm no one. Like, I have a non-existing level at all. Like I can read through a script and understand the logic and so on, but like a developer, like it will just destroy me.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, same.
and like I was using anti-gravity to craft those custom nodes, and eventually I just got it to work, and it works like super well and so on. So I was super happy and so on, and like myself. Maybe probably by doing a lot of research, reading a lot of stuff and so on, like in the end, I would be able to do that myself. But like in a very maybe in 2 weeks, with anti-gravity, I did it in maybe in less than one day. But the thing is, I really feel because like I have really a lot of good friends of mine that are very good coder and good developers. I know for a fact, like those guys, like if they are using anti-gravity or codex or whatsoever, they are going to be like way, 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 way faster than me and more efficient. And probably the code itself, the logic itself, in the end, it will be better. Like mine is working, but I'm really 100% sure if I show the code, like probably the code is neat and well organized and it looks good, like you have all the comments and so on. So it looks nice, it works, it does the job. I feel if I show this to any developer, it will be like, man, like you can optimize this, and this, and get it to work like really smoothly, like in no time. And me, I have no idea, And so I feel like, yeah, maybe you can access to this knowledge or to those skills in the end. But like, if you are developers, you are just better than you just better than the average normie like me, so yeah, I feel like if those people that were doing like the same work that I was doing in anti-gravity, it would be like faster, would work better probably, and so on. So I feel like you will still need to have like the breakdown logic and the coding skills and all, because it also happens that the AI cannot code or something. I think like it won't last forever, but like for right now, like the AI just can't get some stuff right. And like for me, it takes like forever to fix everything. Like I can understand the issue like quite quickly, but like to fix it takes me like a while. And like I think like some developer that is able to fix it like manually and so on, like maybe in like 5 or 10 minutes, it's done. Like me, I would need 1 hour, you know. So I think like if everyone is able to achieve some stuff, we still have like so people who are like specialized in that domain that will be like way, way, way better than you. Like
Yeah.
so
Also,
yeah, it still makes sense to have some developers and that know the code, know the logic, know how to solve the problems, break down the issues, and so on.
yeah, I think critical thinking is the important one here.
Yeah,
Because let's say if it really happens like the Nvidia guy was saying, and programming doesn't exist anymore because you can just use AI and it programs for you. I really think the critical thinking would go away. Because I think developers now and engineers and programmers, they think differently because they have to go through so many different steps and different ways of thinking about the
yeah, true.
problem. But I think if you take away programming, let's say in 30 or 50 years, and you're like, oh, AI just programs for you, I think people are going to forget how to use their brain. I think critical thinking might
I think
might
it's
go away.
already the case to
Yeah,
some extent,
yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
Again, it's all up to you. You know.
yeah.
Yeah, like one example I use often is like I mean, it's not a new issue. Like there are like some people that are doing the same traject like every weeks, and they still can do it without a GPS. You know, like even though like they are doing like the same traject every single week, and like I think it's up to you to choose if you are dependent on this kind of technology or if you just use it to leverage your knowledge and like upgrade yourself. It's just up to you. And at this point, I think you just have to, like just fight the laziness and be like, okay, I'm just going to tackle this problem. Like I'm gonna use AI to leverage my knowledge because personally, I use AI to learn stuff. So I use AI, so I don't have to use AI in the future.
Mm,
So like I
yeah.
just I and actually it's super cool because like even with machine learning and so on, like I can like understand like with AI, I can understand like complex concepts like very quickly and very efficiently. And now like ChatGPT, like it knows me, like it knows how I think, so it can like craft some examples and some explanation like that just fit like how my brain is wired. And like it's a super efficient way to learn some stuff. And if you use it like as a mentor or teacher or professor or some stuff like this, I think it's crazy cool. uh, but yeah, if you choose to use it and rely on it thoroughly for everything, yeah, like I think it's a bit boring. Like, and yeah, there's not much interest in doing this. But
I agree.
yeah, you can leverage this kind of tech like the way you want, the way you intend.
Yeah.
Actually, this
I
is a
mean,
good stuff. Like, it's entirely up to you to choose
yeah.
whatever you are doing with this tech.
Yeah, no, because I use Claude for coding a bit in Houdini. You can just create your own quick Python tools. It can write
But
a
I'm sure
lot
it's
of
working
X.
super well.
It's pretty good. Sometimes it's still hallucinating functions that don't really exist. So then I have to read through it, and I'm like, this doesn't exist. But I know why. Like I know it doesn't because I already have the knowledge. But the thing is, you can't say to AI, oh, just for instance, I was telling you I developed this new way of retiming volumes. It's a lot of steps and it's a lot of code and a lot of different ways of doing it. And if I told AI, oh, I need a new retimer for volumes, it would just give you maybe 5 steps, but it wouldn't know exactly where to go. But because I know and I started developing the workflow, I can specifically ask AI for specific things, but I'm still engineering the workflow.
Hmm.
AI is just sometimes helping me with, because like it's a lot of X in some cases, and I'm just like, can you just write this point cloud thing for me and and these are the features that I need. I need this slider and this slider, and then AI is like, yes, sir, writes everything. I paste it in. In a lot of cases, it doesn't really work, and I'm like, okay, you fucked here. Can you please fix this? And it's like, oh yeah, oh yes, of course. I made this mistake. I'm so sorry, and then it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fixes it. But it's still a lot of trial and error, but it does speed up the process a bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but you need to, that's what I was trying to say. You need the critical thinking. You need to understand what is actually the thing that you're doing. Because if you don't, you won't be able to guide the AI anywhere. So
Of course.
it's always going to be this push pull that you need to have with AI, I think. And I always try to keep, I always try to remember that, yeah, we mustn't lose our critical thinking and rely too much on AI to write
Sure.
our every
Yeah, yeah.
fucking email. Because once you get to that point, then you just get so lazy, and then it's exactly what
Yeah,
we had
you
in
don't do the stuff for yourself like anymore. Like yeah, yeah,
yeah, it gets lazy. Anyway, so the workshop,
yeah.
the workshop.
In the end, like
So
finally.
yeah, I'm gonna put like on YouTube. It's like the webinar actually starts here after 45 minutes.
Yeah, true.
uh,
But I mean,
but
like this is like a very rich topic. Like I feel like
yeah, it
I
is.
could speak of this like for hours, honestly. But
Me
okay,
too.
let's focus
Yeah.
on the workshop.
Yeah. So the workshop, it is focused more for professionals, for
Yeah,
studio
totally.
workflows,
Yeah,
and local, which is important because we don't want
yes.
to infringe on copyrights and everything that's kind of bad about AI. We
But
all know that
there's like
they all stole
many.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like many stuff many stuff regarding this. Like so the workshop, like we, as you said before, like on all the online apps, you don't really, I don't use them, but I'm not saying like it's not powerful. I mean, like a nano banana is super great and so on, but like you don't need a tutorial for this. I didn't see any added values talking about this because like people that we just figure out by themselves, so I
and
didn't.
there's so many workshops, right? Like people are selling
Yeah,
workshop. It's
like
how do you use this is my workflow for Nana
yeah, but
Banana. I'm
you
like,
know, like
what
those
workflow?
kind of people that are just like surfing the trend and that they will disappear in no time. And like I
Yeah.
feel like they
Yeah.
are just like just profit from this kind of like
The
ignorance
hype.
or lack of
Yeah.
knowledge of people and so on. But like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like so
Yeah.
the nano banana. I mean, I use like when like the production allows that, like I use it from time to time. But this is actually the point. Like when you are when I was telling you, like in a pre-call, like we are working with some international productions, and like those guys, like Amazon, Netflix, or whatsoever, uh, if they are explaining, if you are explaining them, like, dude, I'm going to take your super secret plate and shoot it to the server of Google. They're gonna be like, yeah, okay, like, let's not do this, please. And so basically, if you have the constraint of using like only local AI, I mean it's still doable, but it's another layer of complexity, like because you have to take care of everything by yourself. Like Nano Banana is super amazing because it can like understand what you need, adapt to what you need, and give you pretty much a good result. That depend on the times, but like give you a decent result, let's say. Like in ComfyUI, there are some way to automate some stuff to some extent, but the way you are like calling the model, um, formatting your prompt, sampling the model. So the sampling, it's like the generation methods, like when you are like properly creating the image, like everything, it's all exposed parameters, So you have to understand the whole thing before creating good images with this. But it's also like a super cool feature because like once you got over this complexity, you have like a crazy level of control. Like you can like intervene like super accurately on your generation, and this is something you can't do with like a Midjourney or like yeah, we didn't talk about Midjourney so far, but like yeah, like Midjourney, Nano Banana, and so on. Like you really lack of control, and in Comfy, it's really like, yeah, you are totally in control. So this is like, like super nice way to generate images, like super professional, because like it allows you to, like add this level of granularity in your generations. And on top of this, you are hosting your own models. and you are not like shooting like your super top secret plate to someone else's server. So for those reasons, I feel Comfy it's like the only way to go
Yeah.
for like like very high end production, but not even high end, but like just production. Like the the guys that they do like they do the shooting, they do the editing, and so like they are right now they are trusting you with all the shots and so on. They don't want you to shoot everything to some random servers for it to use it to train to train new models on top of that. They don't want this. So yeah, so basically Comfy keeps everything in local, even though they introduced some API nodes that are able to call because like they have some partnership with major actors like Google, OpenAI, ByteDance, Kling as well, Runway, and so on, like many others, Black Forest Labs, and so on. So you can still access those models through Comfy, and it's actually super cool way to access them because like instead of having like some account one account to Google AI, one account to OpenAI, one account to some others, runway, Seedance, and so on. You have like one unified account that is able to call up like any model you want. So it's a super cool way to access those paid model, by the way, through Comfy. Um, but this is not the main topic. But like the thing is like with Comfy, you can host everything locally on your own machine. You just keep your data for yourself. Don't like and you can trust your pipeline because you know that your data they are not going to be stolen, and are not going to use your data to train some others on top of that. So that is like what is like so suitable for productions actually.
Yep.
So
Yep.
this is like very the main point. You're just keep everything under your own control. So yeah, so that's why I think it's worthy to learn a Comfy, because I feel AI in VFX production, it's like inevitable to some extent. Like it's going to grow. It's going to take more space in the future, and you want to be able to leverage this kind of technology. And as far as now, like as of today, I don't see any other solution than Comfy that is suitable for production context. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I agree.
that's why I've decided to learn it like very early, because I was like, okay, this thing, like when I saw the interface, like the nodal system and so on, I was like, okay, this is the one. Like I want to use this. And so yeah, and so about the approach I choose to have for the workshop is like I've tried to have like a future-proof approach, because like the generative AI, it's moving so fast and so on. Like it evolves like super quickly and so on. And like most of the people that tell me like I don't want to get into AI because what I'm gonna learn, it will be like useless in 2 weeks. So I'm just gonna wait like few more months for it to stabilize, and then I will get into it. I was like, yeah, dude, like it's probably never going to stabilize to some point. It's like evolving like continuously. So you just have to catch the flow. But fortunately, what is also true about this is like, yes, the model, they evolve like super quickly. You have some major release every month or every 2 months and so on. You have some groundbreaking news, but the underlying concepts, the very basic and foundational concepts, I mean, they remained the same for the four past years. And
Hmm.
so like the approach of the workshop is like, okay, guys, we are going to tackle this in a very agnostic way, general purpose way. So we are going to understand, rather than understanding some specific models or some specific workflows, we are going to take a step back, focus on that specific model, use that specific model as a learning base, like as an educational material. And using this educational material, we are going to cover like every single concept um, that like just the generative AI is relying on. And by building this foundational knowledge, it's after this, like when you have like all the basics, you just have to transfer the knowledge. You just have to adapt a bit, because like as I said, like the concept, they are always the same, kind of the same. And so you just have like, even though like from one model to another, like one concept is going to manifest itself like in a different manner, but it will always be the same idea. You know where it's going, you know where to look, you know what to expect, so you can adapt like super easily. And this is like really the approach of the workshop. Or yeah, like like just building like some foundational knowledge, and then like do all the process of transferring that knowledge, so the people, they can really get autonomous. uh, so that's why, yeah, that's really the vision I tried to achieve, like like being just as future proof as I could, in order to guarantee the people that what we are learning today will still be valuable in a few months or years, even though the models that are going to churn and so on, like to change. But the thing is, like, yeah, it's always the same underlying concepts. And if you understood those concepts, you are good to go and to adapt with like upcoming releases.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I was saying with stop motion animators going to animation. You learn the basics, literally, moving your puppets frame by frame, joint by joint, and then you do it the same on a computer. Like the foundational knowledge doesn't really change, right? Cool. I think you have a few examples in Comfy, and
Yeah,
then
we
we
can
can chat.
jump
Yeah.
into Comfy. I will share my screen and like go a bit in detail
And correct
about.
me if I'm wrong, but so the first part of the workshop is recorded, and every kind of like almost everything you're going to be showing now, that's already recorded. But
Yeah,
the workshop is going to be updated, right, as we go. And if anything new happens, uh, or like if
like
I
no,
know,
like actually, so the we're gonna do like this in two times, like in the two yeah, two times, we can say that. But so this the workshop, what is ready now is like an initial release. So it's like 13 videos, and we go from the very beginning. Like we take everything from scratch. There's This is the thing also about it. Like there's no knowledge required to join the workshop. Like you can be a total beginner to AI, and you'll be fine. Um, so we take everything from scratch, and like the first 13 videos of the workshop, it's about like building this foundational knowledge I was talking about. And on top of this, I will publish some updates. Like probably one video every 2 weeks after the initial release, and this will be about like more like up to date workflows, like using up to date models, and like really like to tackle like all the models that are really being used on the spot.
Mhm.
So like yeah, and some more advanced use case as well, because like uh, all the fancy use case you think of when you are thinking about generative AI, like deepfake, or I don't know, like AI roto, it's not even that advanced, but like deepfake, or integrate some new elements into a video, or use cross generative AI with 3D models to craft like a CGI shot or some stuff like this. But there's like a wide range of use case we can explore, but it's more advanced workflows. And to tackle those advanced workflow, you need to go through the initial release of the workshop, so you can actually understand what's going on. And then once you have this foundational knowledge, like it's just about like opening a template, and then being like, okay, so this model so works like this, like this, like this, and like this. Like your reference structure, if you need one, you just put it here, you encode it that way, and the model, and you feed the model with it that way. So it's also like just you never start from scratch. You just adapt some pre-existing knowledge, but to be able to move that fast, in some up-to-date workflows, you really need the basics we are discussing in the initial release. So that's the way I made it actually.
Yeah. No, I like it that you that whoever's going to take the workshop, you're going to explain how it works, right? Like what it actually is, how does it work? And it's not just like, oh, you press 3 buttons and change the seed, and
Yeah, really not like.
it's a slot machine. You change, you you hope for the best.
But like I've been like, because in the workshop I go really much into details and like in many things, and like I was like, yeah, maybe I don't know if the people they really need to know this. I was like, yeah, like if they want to know, they will just like take the knowledge. And if they don't care, they will just
Just skip
pass
the
on it.
video.
But like
Yeah.
it's still in the workshop, So
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
I really wanted the people to have like a broad understanding of a generative AI. So like if they come across like more recent models that is working like slightly differently compared to what they are used to, they are not lost. Like they are like, okay, so these models use this sampler or this scheduler of whatever. But like if the people that are already familiar with this kind of concept and they know under the hood how it's working, then it's so easy to adapt. Like for me, like I've been in generative AI since like quite a long time now, but like when a model is coming out, it takes me maybe like just a few hours, like 2 or 3 hours to know how to use it, like
To
basically
adjust.
to how
Yeah.
to basically use it. And like on top of that, you add more advanced workflows, but again, it always like kind of the same stuff actually. So you just need
Yeah.
to learn the basics and then learn to adapt. And that is basically what we are doing in the initial release. And like, as you said, after the initial release, we will have like some extra videos explaining more advanced workflows. But to understand those advanced workflow, you need the initial release. So that's pretty
Sounds
much
good.
the way it's made.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Um, Sweet. Do you want to share your screen and we can go through some
Yeah, I
of the
can
examples?
share the screen
Yeah.
and show you like a few examples that I prepared. So basically, I have like a few examples that we're going to discuss. It's just this is by no means like exhaustive. Like we are like tackling like much more than that in the workshop, but just to give you like a broad overview of the workshop
Just
and
just a
explain
taste.
what it's made of. So if we start with this one, this is actually one of the most basic workflow you can think of when you are using ComfyUI. And actually, if you understand this, you understand like already quite a lot because like this is like a simple workflow of text to images. So we take this text and we transform it into this image. Understand thoroughly the generation of text to an image, you already understand like quite a lot. So in the workshop, the first module, it's really like about theory and understanding really what's going on when you generate an image. Good, good, good. I don't,
What happened?
I don't know what happened.
We lost you, but it's fine. It should be all good.
Yeah, should be good. So as I was saying, like this workflow is like the more basic one you can think of when using Comfy. You are just loading a model, encoding some prompt, and you get an image after this. So basically, how we start the workshop is like we break down every single component from this basic workflow. So we go here. So here we have a loaded checkpoint. So what is a checkpoint? Here we have three components. So what is a model? What is clip? What is the VAE? And then like we go through everything. So this node, it allows us to enter our prompt. So this is like the positive prompt, like the thing I want to see in my image. This is the negative. This is what I don't want in my image. And the way of phrasing the prompt and the way it's being encoded and used by the AI, we go through everything of that. And and we go through everything like in greater details. Like I explain how the prompt is seen by the AI, how it's being encoded, and how it's being like understood by the AI. Because the way the thing is like, if you know how it's encoded and how it's understood by the AI, so it gives you the way of phrasing to the AI. It explains you how to talk efficiently to the AI. So by understanding how we encode the prompt and how the text is understood, so you know how to phrase your own sentence and how to phrase your own prompt in order for the AI to convey all the concepts you wanted to put in your images. So that's why we go like in greater details about this. We go in detail about what is like a latent image, like the latent space and so on. And we explain like thoroughly what is like the case and prop, because like this node is actually like the image generator of Comfy. This is this node that will generate the image for you. And you see that we have like just a few parameters, and we explain everything that is going on inside of this node. And once you understood everything that is going on in this node, so what is steps, what is CFG, what is a sampler, what is a scheduler, it becomes like all natural and very obvious because you understood the whole process, you know. So instead of being like, okay, the sampler, it's this, the scheduler is that, and so on, I go like, you know, for generating an image, it works like this and this and this and this and this. And then on top of that, you're like, okay, so the sampler, it takes care about that part. The scheduler, it takes care about that part. So we build like we build like a clear understanding of what's going on in this node. And then we have the same stuff with the VAE, and then yeah, we get these images. So basically, this workflow is like the most basic one. But if we understand this, like there is a lot of stuff that are relying on this, like using this workflow as a base. So understanding this, it's already quite a lot, and this is what we started the workshop with. And here I just have like two more examples. So basically, like it's 3 times the same stuff, but with different prompt. Obviously, it's just to show you like, even if yeah, by the way, I didn't mention that, but we are using like SDXL as an educational material, like for one simple reason, because like it's an like a very old model, but it exposes like all the parameters, and like to get it to work properly, you really have to have an advanced understanding of what's going on. So it's super cool to learn. And on top of this, I still use it today because like there are like some tools available for SDXL that are the IP adapters for the ones who knows. But we covered this in the workshop as well. But like those tools, they are like so cool. I still use it today to generate like some working base and like yeah, you know, just to in order to get the things at the right place. And then like I use this first pass of generation with some other more advanced model, but I still use these specific models today because like there are like some tools available with this model that are like so super amazing, and I still use it today actually. But anyway, like I've been doing like those examples just to show you that even though it's like a pretty old model, let's say, you still can get like some nice result out of it. So yeah, that's pretty much that. So this we cover it thoroughly at the start of the workshop, just you know, to build the foundational knowledge of like you know, like how we load a model, what is a model, what are the different components of the model, how what components is used to understand our prompt, what mechanism is used to, you know, like just pass the instruction to the AI. And once the AI has like the model at disposal, the uncoded prompt at disposal, how it turns everything of this in an image. And we go through everything of that in detail, and then we move on to some more advanced stuff. But we always rely on this kind of knowledge. So I have like another use case that I can show you, like this one. It combines like several stuff. So this is like an upscaling workflows, but it also combines some local LLMs because it's always like super useful to be able to use local LLMs, so you don't rely on ChatGPT, Gemini, and so on. So you can you can have your own model running locally on your machine. So what we're doing here is like using Gemma 3 because it's a super lightweight model, so it will run on most GPU without any issue. And what we're doing here is doing like a bit of prompt engineering. Like I don't go too much in detail about that one, honestly, because like you just read some examples. So I provide some prompt that I crafted in the working file of the workshop, so people that just can like look at this, see the structure for themselves, and it's pretty straightforward to understand the way you craft this kind of stuff. But what I'm doing here is like I give it the instruction to look at my image, which is this one in this example. And like here, I give it like some instructions to output some a list of tags that I will be using to guide the upscaling process. Because the thing is like I'm giving these images and I use this upscaler to appraise my image. So here you can see that I do 8 times upscaling. So I go from something that is very, very small to like a 3K version. And for the AI to be able to reconstruct details in the current way, you need to, like give it like some keywords to, like say it like this image. In this image, there are like this kind of stuff, this kind of things, this kind of material, and so on. And this is the part I automate with this local model. So you can see here in the workshop, in this example, I give it these images, which is like a very pixelated and super low resolution. I give it to the model with this long instruction, and here this is like my prompt. I just say it like describe this image because I don't need to say that much more because like all the instruction it's already in there, and like I have like this prompt that is generated automatically. So I've automated the creation of my prompt inside my upscaling workflow, so I don't have to do it manually. And the result is kind of cool. So here I have a comparison. So this is like the original image, and this is the image out of the upscaling. So you can see that we recovered like quite a lot of detail here. We have like a little hairs and all. So even the feathers, like they are like deblurred, and like we recovered like a lot of detail, and we can get like this quality of result because like we have like a super good description of the image. And so basically, yes. So this is this kind of automation. We cover it. We cover it inside the workshop as well. So
Sweet.
yeah, that's pretty much like an automated upscaler. Very simple to like appraise your images in a very accurate way. And yeah, it's pretty much that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Awesome.
After this, I have like this one. So I'm just going to rerun this part, and during the time it's running, I can like cover a bit. So this is like more like a complete workflows that combines like several components. And so I was doing this one like it was like a quick workflow I did for a short movie because like they needed some concept of a little cute robot on Mars. I've been doing this. So what I did is like they sent me like some kind of a reference, and they were like, it's the structure and the size we want, but we want it like more like bulky, but like the overall shape it's like this. So I was like, okay. as I told you before, like I'm using some local LLM to get like a cool description of the image. So I use it like as a base for my prompt, and then I use like a generative model to generate like one version on that. So like that's why that was like the version I come up with, that were like, okay, we can try this and so on. So you can see like it's not exactly the same, like, but the structure itself, like it's kind of there. But I didn't want to have something that too much close, but at the same time like a bit inspired. Anyway, so this is like the version they agreed to use. And then I used like my upscaler. I can, if I zoom in, you can see that I just refine the texture and so on. So this is like, this is actually how the images is coming out of the model. And this is the refined version. So you can see again, like a lot of detail on the material, like even the wigs here, like it's more coherent, like the structure overall, it's more coherent. A lot of detail, like even the wires here, you can see like it's more defined and so on. So I use that like as a working base, and then I take this image and like to be able to pose it and to render some images in, you know, like different perspective. I'm going to use like image to 3D workflow. So what I'm doing here is like taking this image, run it through those nodes, and the goal for it is like to create this image. So like basically automatically, I just extract the main object from the image, and I put it on a blank background, and then I turn it into a 3D model. So the rendering is almost done as we spoke. Like we should, we should like see it like in a bit. We will come back to that. It should like complete very soon. And so what I'm doing is like, as I told you, like I have this. I get like a 3D model from that, and that 3D model I just load it here. And what I'm doing is like this is actually a viewport. You can like position the camera the way you want around the model. So I was like, okay, I want this posing, for example, and then I just take some normals out of it, and I'm gonna use those normals to actually guide the generation of my of the image I wanted to generate. And I'm combining this structure reference with some visual reference. So here, what I gave to the model is like some reference of the Martian ground, and some close-up of like a robotic arm, because like I wanted to have like you know, like some visual reference of how the wire and how the different components that are arranged between each others. So I just give like this reference for it to, you know, like just getting inspired by this kind of stuff. And then by crossing like all those references, so structure references, visual references, I get this render. And again, so I think by the time, like, so you can see here, I have like the first pass of the generation of the model. So that model, we just generated it like as we were talking. So you see it's kind of like a fast and efficient generation process. Of course, the mesh is not perfect. So what I did to go from this to that version, I did like a bit of manual sculpt in ZBrush, or like you know, like just fixing some stuff manually on top of that. But I mean, like going like sculpting from this compared to starting from a sphere, like you save a lot of time, like you especially for concept, you know, because here this is also like I need to be clear about this. Like this workflow, it's not meant to go final. It's just to give some solid visual reference, and like to craft some concept very quickly and being able to iterate. And then what we do with this is like we can provide the model the modular is free to use it or not, but sometimes it's being used as base. Like sometimes it's more convenient to start from scratch and so on, but you already have all the proportion and so on, so it's kind of helpful actually. And the thing is, like we are able to craft this kind of more of images like very quickly. Like if I want a different posing, like I can come here and I'm like, okay, like I want like a posing that looks like this, okay. And so I'm just going to rerun like this part of the workflow. So you can see that my 3D view, it's just being updated. And then I will have like a new images that will follow the new structure I just gave it. So you can, this way you can iterate quite simply, very efficiently, and like being quick in your concept crafting. And then you use this as a super customized mood board, and you just pass this to the 3D team, and they do like all the work in a more traditional way, let's say, but at least they have like some very solid visual references. So this is one way to speed up, like, you know, like look development and so on. So, and again, it's not, I don't think it's suitable for any project. But when you want to be fast, or like for example, you have a client, like the client, he doesn't know what he wants, and you need to iterate a lot. And like you know, like in the past, like the concept artist, it had to do like, I don't know, like 50 version, and like the clients goes by, okay, so let's take version 2 with version 7, mix them a little bit, and we go final from this. So you can save a lot of time and a lot of nerves with this kind of workflow. So I feel, to some extent, for some project, this kind of workflow could be interesting. And again, like in the workshop, we cover basically like this stage. We cover it. Like this stage, we don't cover it because like in the workshop, I just focus on image generation, because like it's the first thing you need to understand, and then you move to other stuff. But you know, like where once you took the workshop, this is actually like the block of 3D generation, and it's honestly, it's kind of the same stuff than generating images, except that there are some specificities, but there's a lot of similarities. So if the people, they really understand how to generate properly images, they will be able to use this like in a super streamlined way. So there's absolutely no worries about this. And again, in the extra videos we are going to publish on top of the initial release, I can totally tackle this if this is needed. So no worries at
Awesome.
all about that. And so here we basically cover every single stuff. So how to use visual references. So this workflow here, it's pretty basic, but in the workshop we see like much more advanced way of encoding image and use some visual references.
Hmm.
We see how to use this kind of 3D references, and yeah, ultimately how to generate this. So like this workflow combines like many stuff, and
Yep.
it's also like a way to show people that Comfy, it's more about like, you know, building blocks, and you just learn how to operate like individual building blocks, and then like the whole thing is about finding out how you are going to combine the whole stuff, you know. So here you have like visual reference with local LLMs. You do a first pass of image generation, you do some upscaling to generate additional details. Then you go from an image to a 3D model, then a 3D model to another image, but you are able to reposing, reposing it as you will. You have like some visual references. So basically it combines like a lot of stuff. That is like really the logic we go through in the workshop. And if we go to next one, this one, I wanted to include it because like to show the people how powerful the open source models has become. Uh, I think people are just stuck with Nano Banana beating everyone. actually, like we have some very well performing models available inside Comfy. So here I have two examples. We are going to focus on the first one. So here I take the first images I've generated in the previous workflow, and here I come and I give it like a very simple instruction, just as I would do it in Nano Banana. Actually, like this is exactly how you would prompt Nano Banana actually. And so here we are using these models. Basically, so for the record, I ask for to change the texture of the robot. So I ask for rusted texture and some extra weathering while keeping the background and the lighting completely unchanged. And so like I get these images, and if I do a comparison, we go from this to this. You can see that it adapts the texture quite efficiently. And overall, the result is pretty solid. Like given the instruction I give it, this is a nice result. It just follow the prompt I gave it, and you can use really leverage some local models to do this kind of stuff. And this is just a bit to just to show off Comfy to the people, just to make them realize that yeah, Nano Banana is super good, but look, like we have some local solution that you can operate yourself. You keep your data for you, and basically you have like maybe you don't have like the same result 100% of the time compared to Nano Banana, of course not, but you still have some solid alternative. But this is this is the beauty of ComfyUI. Like it makes you, it puts you at your disposal, like some crazy technologies that you can just use for free locally on your machine. So I think it's pretty awesome to have access to this kind of technology. And here I have like a second example. So we do some photo restoration. So basically what I did, I went like on Pexels. Was just typing a damaged photo or some stuff like this, and I came across this one. So I was like, okay, so there is some mold, some cracks, and so on. So that's perfect. And so I'm just taking like the same model, and like I just ask it to fix the photo in the dumbest way possible. So rip out the damaged photograph, preserve the original composition, and it just give me this result. So you can see that the result is kind of cool. Like honestly, like if imagine having to paint this by hand on Photoshop. Like, I mean, it would take like super long, and the model gives you like this working base. Of course, it's not perfect. Like the skin lacks of detail. You don't have high frequencies on the skin and so on. But again, hybrid workflows are the way to go, and this kind of workflow, it gives you like a very solid base to further work on in a more traditional way. Like for this kind of stuff, if I had to fix the skin texture of the face, I can use Photoshop. I can use some other of the workflow we cover in the workshop in Comfy, because there are some models to enhance the skin and so on. But like this kind of model that looks a bit magical, like because you are just asking what you want, and it just give it to you. It's not going to work that well in 100% of the case, and the rest of the cases you just have to have some other options. So either you go through a more manual way of fixing the images, or either you just fall back to some traditional tools like Nuke, Photoshop, or whatsoever. But those models, they are like super convenient to get like 70-80% of the work done in no time, but you still have to like craft a bit on top of this to go final. And so that was mostly to demonstrate people that we do have some powerful model available on Comfy as well. And then we can move on if you don't have like any question at this point.
No, I think we can move on. But it's like what you said. In the case if you really need to use Banana or whatever, all the other stuff, you can use the other option through APIs, right? And still use it. in
Oh
case
yeah, yeah,
if you
yeah.
wanted to.
You can totally you can have access to this, so you can have a so like you have this kind of node which is Nano
Uh-huh.
Banana. Here you type your prompt. Here you can choose the model and so on. You can give it some images, some file. Yeah, but this one is paid one, so it will cost you 28 credits. So yeah, you can totally call Nano Banana from Comfy if you absolutely need it, of course, no problem. And then we can move on to the next. So this is the next thing is character swap, and we go from training models to deepfake, and we are going to discuss this. And I just want to mention here I'm doing a demonstration about training models, and you can see that I trained on myself. This is not because I love myself so much. It's just because when I came to the point of recording this video in the workshop, I was like, okay, I needed to find someone I'm going to train a model on. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do a famous actor because some people in the world will be offended. I'm not going to take some historical personalities and so on. I was like, you know what, fuck, I'm just going to train on myself. So I'm 100% sure that no one will bother me with this. So I just did a data set of myself and train a model of on myself. In the workshop, we go through every single steps to allow to do this. We go through dataset crafting, so how to craft a cool dataset for model to.
Oh, I think you're back.
What?
What happened?
Okay, give me 1 second. I don't know what's going on. I never have this kind of issue. Okay, we're back. So as I was saying, we just go through every single steps. So we go through from just creating a data set, understanding what kind of data you need to provide the AI with, how to prepare the data set, because you need to go through several steps before you give the data to the AI. And then the training process of itself. So we learn how to train a model on one specific subject, and in this case, the specific subject is me. And then here I have a basic workflow to use the model inside of Comfy. We just trained it. So here I have basic stuff the model loading, the prompt, and here you can see that I have two generator node, and I put them side by side just to show you the usefulness of understanding thoroughly the sampling and the generating process inside a Comfy, because this one is the basic generator in Comfy and gives us these images. And this one is more advanced with some extra options and some extra sampler, extra scheduler, and so on. And we have a much more parameters available for to us, and it gives us this result. So you can see that the lighting is is better on this one. The proportion as well, it's a bit better. The quality of the overall quality of the face is better on this one as well. And we used the same model, the same prompt, but different generator with different parameters, and we have this kind of gap between results. So that's demonstrate a bit the usefulness of really understanding how how everything flows, and how to use parameters, and how to set up stuff, because with the same material you can get this kind of result, or you can get this one with a more advanced method. So that's pretty much that's something we cover as well in the workshop, the advanced samplers. We can I think this sampler, it would deserve like a whole dedicated video because it's so complex but so powerful at the same time.
Mm.
Yeah, so that was like the first one. Then we have a character swap, and we also combine several stuff here. So here I'm starting from this video of that guy talking to camera. I extracted the first frame, and then I do like AI. I do like AI roto. I do like AI roto in this, so you can see that I have like a pretty decent alpha of the man here. I don't have the little hair, but like it's completely okay for this kind of use case, because anyway I'm going to expand the mask, so it will
Mhm.
get it ultimately. And then what I'm doing is like using the model I trained in the previous workflow to swap to do a character swap of myself from that man to myself. So you can see, like, if I put it side by side, like I just replaced the man with me. So this is something you can achieve by training some models on a specific subject. And why you want to do this? Because it's actually the first step of crafting a deepfake with ComfyUI. And this is what we see here. And actually, like, if you wanted to craft a deepfake using a ComfyUI, you have to. It's super useful to generate the first frame right, and give it to the AI, and be like, look, like the character I wanted to generate looks like this, with this proportion, with this lighting, in this setup, and it will like greatly improve the result. So if we quickly go through the workflow, so this one is not covered in the workshop, but it will be in an extra video because it's a more advanced workflow, let's say, and we really need like some basics before getting to this one. So
Mhm.
I'm starting from this image. I do like some AI rotoscope, so you can see that I have like an alpha of for this guy. I do some face tracking. So in order to like capture like the acting and the acting performance basically. Here I do some face tracker. So this is like the AI version of skeleton rig, and this is like just you just get it by tracking like the position of like a body in a video. So this one is like, you can see it like some kind of skeleton and joint that will tell the AI like the character needs to do that motion. And then you have like the masked video. So basically the model I'm using here expect this kind of video as an input, because it will like reconstruct the video inside of the black pixel and leave the non-black pixel as is without changing anything. So you can preserve the camera motion, the background, and so on. So with everything, so I have my alpha, I have my face track, I have my position, and I have like the working base of the video, the background video. I can go here, and then I use like the frame I generate. I do some image, some cropping on my face. So this one is a cool reference because it gives the AI, it tells the AI how I should look like in this particular setup with this lighting and so on. So it doesn't have to make up anything. And here I give it like an other reference that is like facing just because like here I'm seen a bit in profile, and if the guy was to like like just face the camera, I don't want the AI to have to make up what I look like when I'm facing a camera. I want the exact reference, so that's why I gave it like this reference on top. And then we have our sampling method, and we end up with this kind of result. So you can see that I got the lip sync right. I have the facial expression that is fine as well, the facial motion as well. So pretty seamless actually. Like even though it's close up, like the skin looks kind of cool, and this is actually like the first pass, just to get the to get the base, the working base of the deepfake. But then you obviously have some methods to, like just enhance the result for the skin texture. If you want to fix some stuff with the lip sync, even though like I feel here there's no need to fix the lip sync, but like sometimes it get it wrong, so you have to fix it afterward. But there are like a whole bunch of tools that you can add on top of this workflow to, just refine and craft some deepfake and so on. So
Hmm.
that's pretty much that. Again, it doesn't cover everything we tackle in the workshop, but I feel this is like a nice overview to, just set some expectations and tell the people what we are going to study in the workshop and so on, and then what we are going to study after the initial release.
Yeah. No, it's sweet. And yeah, the deepfake is very, I mean, it's so close to the actual actor, right? Like the
Yeah,
movement and
like I mean,
everything.
like if I had to do it, like imagine having to achieve this result in 3D. Like, yeah, it would
Yeah,
be super difficult to achieve like in 3D or like in with any traditional methods actually. So yeah,
very.
it
Yeah.
saves like a lot of time.
Yeah, that's why I was saying for green screen removal, I saw that Corridor Digital did their own green screen keyer that I think you actually put in Comfy. You did like a fork of their
Yeah,
workflow. Yeah,
I did a fork, so I didn't release it yet because it's still so it's on GitHub, but I didn't like you know publicly pushed it because it's still work in progress. But
yeah.
yeah, I did like my own implementation of a corridor key, so this will be available. Ultimately, it will be available in Comfy. And actually, I took like the exact same code than them, so there's no reason to get different results. So we should get exactly what they are showcasing in the demo. And I did like all the implementation of the complementary module. So they have like a GVM and Video Mama that will enhance enhance the alpha and so on. But
Mm.
here, like it's like really work in progress. I feel maybe I will release it like in the coming days, on coming weeks. Depends on how much time I have to dedicate to that. But yeah, like this one is a work in progress, but ultimately it will come to Comfy. I can like do a tutorial on it, like even though it's super simple and super straightforward to use, but we can use it. We can use it in some future video, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be useful. Have you tried doing any mocap with AI? So like you would
Yeah,
like because you had a bone structure there of the face, right? Which means you could probably do the same thing with a
yeah,
human.
yeah. Actually, there are some tools allowing you to do some mock. I don't have any ready demo of this right now, but yeah, there are some tools that um, it's yeah, it's actually like so super good. Like we were testing those options because like for some projects we actually needed this. Actually, what surprised me is like like you have like online paid solution. I don't remember the name. I think it's like a Deep Motion AI or something like some stuff like this.
Move. I think it's Move AI.
Yeah, Move AI is one, but you also have Deep Motion. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, Move AI definitely is one of those. And like actually, uh, Comfy has some tools that allows you to do some mockup. And we found out that for the, I don't know, like for the general purpose, because we didn't do like a lot of testing, but like for those purpose we were targeting, the open source and free solution is actually better than the paid solution. So we ended up using this one instead of using emotion, Move AI or Deep Motion. So you can definitely do some mockup in Comfy. And the crazy thing is like it's a single view. Like you don't need to have like several cameras shooting one specific stuff. It's just a single view and it works super well.
Hmm. Yeah. No, awesome. Yeah, it makes sense to use machine learning for things like that, or
Yeah, true.
compression, like compression for volumes or file sizes, like things like that. Machine learning slash AI, whatever. I think that's where it should be used, right? Like for tasks that humans can really do, or for tasks like are just like annoying to do, like green screen or rotoscoping, or
Yeah, green
it's like
screen, rotoscope, even cleaning as well. There's some,
cleaning stuff. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like there are like a whole bunch of use cases to explore, and I feel like yeah, maybe like after the initial release, we can just like see what the people they want, and if there is like some major request, like a lot of requests for one specific use case, we can craft a video about that, and show the people how to tackle some specific stuff in Comfy. That's also something we can do, like for green screen or clean plate or some stuff like this. Can do some dedicated tutorial about that, like not
Yeah.
because we have the tools to we have the tools to do this. But once again, like once you understood how to tackle a new tool, like it's super obvious to like get familiar with a new one. So this is like a whole process to get into it, to get into. And but once it's done,
Yeah.
honestly, super straightforward to like move on.
What about match moving? So let's say you have an actor's face, you need to match move their face or things like that.
Yeah. So like, but again, like it won't be editable. But there's some machine learning that are like working super well, where like kin tools. And this is actually, I'm not sure it's like a completely AI, but there's some AI inside of it. And like the Keen tools that are available in, like, it's a OFX plugin, so you can basically have it available in any software you want to use. And this one is super cool because it's editable. It gives you like a proper mesh of the face, so you can
Yeah.
like fix manual stuff and so on. Like you can see that here, obviously I have the face track in a implied way, because like you see that it just matching the original motion of the guy. But so the result is good because I just follow the motion of the guy, but I can't edit it. So it's always a matter of what you want to achieve, and what level of control you need. Like it would have been like super easy to face track him, using like traditional tools. But with AI, you can see that you can achieve like super accurate face tracking as well, even though you can further edit it. But like in some case, like here, I don't need to do like some specific edits, So that always depends on what you wanted to achieve. You just have to pick the right tools for the right purpose, and that's it.
Yeah. Cause I saw a bunch of people, they used Comfy and um, they plugged it into a nuke. I don't know how, but I guess there's like ways to bridge it.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's interesting then, because if you can use everything you have in Nuke, like their 3D systems and 3D capabilities, and run that through these models and just have like a
yeah.
fusion
But
of
like,
Nuke plus
so
Comfy.
what you talk about is more like it's more like a template of workflow from Comfy being bridged into Nuke. So it's more like how can I say, like it's you don't really merge Nuke and Comfy. You
Use
just
the models.
outsource some
Yeah.
images from Nuke, send them through Comfy,
Yeah. Yeah.
process it in Comfy, and then you just get
Yes.
your output. Your
Yep.
output back.
Yep.
But in this case, it's just pre-made template. Even though you can expose some parameters for you to tweak them, but it's just like pre-made workflows. So like for just for some specific use case that you don't have to tweak so much parameters, such as like AI rotoscope. Like you can see, like here I'm doing my rotoscope, and all I did is like give it a prompt. Like I just put person, and that's it. So in
Hmm.
this kind of case, like I don't have to tweak that much. So it would make total sense to have like a template using this model, and to be able to call this kind of piece of workflow from Nuke in order to like craft a super quick alpha from a given object. But like for this workflow, for example, you have to tweak like quite a lot of parameters. And I think bridging this into Nuke, you would lose like a lot of control. So I think bridging workflows to Nuke, it's an interesting idea, but it only makes sense when you have like very little stuff to tweak and your workflow is almost a plug and play. Like here, this one
Got it.
is almost a plug and play because we have like a dynamic and self-adapting description. So you just have to press a button, like maybe adjust those parameters and so on. But like it's only like 3 parameters. You can afford to expose this in Nuke. So this would make
Yeah.
total sense. But yeah, for clean plate as well. But yeah, but again, like if there is some interest in bridging some workflows Comfy into some other software, like maybe Nuke, because I'm not that comfortable in other software because like primarily I'm a Nuke compositor, and then I shifted to AI afterward. But originally, I'm mostly into Nuke. Like I'm not really familiar with Houdini or Maya and so on, but like a Nuke, like this is something we can discuss in further video, of course.
Yeah, I mean, that would be interesting, just so you can give people some of these kind of technologies and capabilities and merge it with the existing workflows,
Yeah,
or just
totally.
have like a more familiar UI and stuff like that. Especially if you're a compositor in Nuke. All right, dude, I think we covered a lot. Um,
Yeah, it's been my God, almost
yeah,
2 hours. My God.
almost 2 hours. Yeah, I'm hungry. I need to eat something. you, you probably have other things to do as well. Yeah, sweet. Well, don't leave the call just yet.
Okay.
Once we hang up, don't leave the call just so it continues uploading. Um, but yeah, I don't have any further questions unless you have something to close to finish the webinar. Other than that, I think we're pretty much done.
Yeah, like something we didn't mention, like maybe like at the end of the workshop, like so we go through several modules. So the first modules, so the first is theoretical. So we get familiar with everything, every new concept. Then we learn we put them in practical cases through SDXL. Then we do the work of like just migrating the existing knowledge to some other models. So we just transfer our pre-existing knowledge from SDXI to Flux. So this is like one super important process because this is actually how you adapt to new models. And at the end of the workshop, I share like my personal tech monitoring methods to keep up to date and to see to get the news as soon as they come out. Like could be like some kind of new models, new custom node, new stuff available in Comfy at all. And so basically the goal of this initial release is to give the people the initial understanding, initial knowledge, the basic knowledge for them to allow them to adapt quickly to some new models in the future, and also the learning framework to learn by themselves as they discover, like in total autonomy, some new models. So basically, the workshop is really meant to cover everything. And yeah, as we said, like as we said, we can after we covered everything, we can afford to move like very quickly and like tackle like some more advanced and more complex workflows. So yeah, that's pretty much the spirit of it.
Awesome. Well, Nicolas, thank you for your time. Thank you for recording this workshop. I know a lot of people will find it very useful. And like
Yeah,
I said, I also like, yeah, I think this technology is here. And I think it's, it's good to at least understand and learn how it's working and in what ways it can be used. And it will probably, yeah, it is advancing really fast. So it's good to understand like where it's coming from and where it's going. And the best
cool.
way is to kind of equip yourself with the knowledge that's available currently. Yeah. Awesome. Well,
Okay.
thank you so much.
Okay.
Have a good day and
Yeah,
yeah,
you too. Thanks.
enjoy. All right. Cheers. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye.